We'll be starting in a couple of minutes. Good evening, everyone. Um, we'll just wait for 2 minutes and we'll start the session. Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to all the brilliant minds joining us today from across India and around the world. So it's an absolute pleasure, and I'm thrilled to welcome you all for the Global Entrepreneurship Bootcamp 2025, from idea to venture. So today we're proudly it's being organized by Hult Prize IIT Bombay in collaboration with Hult Prize India. So tonight we officially start a journey where ideas transform into ventures and aspiring student innovators will turn into founders. So to officially kickstart off things, we have someone who's driving the student entrepreneurship and also connecting founders from across the world together. So I would like to please welcome the first guest speaker of today's session, Joanna Ma, who is the Global Community Manager of Hult Prize Foundation. So she has over 10 years of experience in education, global development, sustainability, and youth empowerment. So she will be throwing light about the Hult Prize Foundation, the as a community, and also the incredible opportunities it's offering all of us, and something that you'll all be stepping into today. So she'll also be talking about the impact it has over the decade. So over to you, ma'am. We're delighted to have you. The stage
Hello,
is yours.
hello. Good evening, everyone. For me, it's yet good morning. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation. For me, it's really a privilege to join you for this opening session. And it is even greater privilege to speak to our biggest community in the world. You guys, our biggest community in the world. I'm so happy for this. And you have actually consistently shaped the future of Hult Prize worldwide. So big round of applause to all of Indians in this call, which I think are you guys, right? Mostly. I think I'm the only one who is not. I am actually from Portugal, and I have a deep passion for India, for you guys to know. And about India, so people love to say that the world-changing startups come from Silicon Valley, but the Hult Prize has taught us some difference. World-changing startups come from determination with purpose, and a few countries have proven this more consistently than India. So I'd like to bring you an example. Let's look at Nano Health, our 2014 Hult Prize $1 million winner from the Indian School of Business. They began as a mission to address chronic diseases in underserved communities. A digital ecosystem with a digital ecosystem that connects patients, doctors, hospitals, and corporations into one seamless model of proactive care. And by blending technology, local health workers, and personalized coaching, Nano Health showed that chronic illness can be preventing at and managed at scale. So Nano Health didn't just win a $1 million prize. It transformed what healthcare innovation can look like in emerging markets. It proved that the student idea can grow into a nation solution. And that is the benchmark India brings to the global stage, guys. So I want to talk to you about your opportunity in this bootcamp. Every participant that is here, every one of you, you stand at the same crossroads Nano Health once stood at, a moment where an idea stops being a concept and starts becoming a force for change. But rising to that moment requires four commitments. Let me talk to you about those. So I want you guys to commit to excellence always. Every session, every assignment, every pitch, these are a signal to the world about who you are as a builder. Excellence compounds. The professionalism you show today becomes the credibility that carries you tomorrow. The second one is solve real problems at real scale. And I don't think India has a problem with big scale. So India does not need more noise. It needs more impact. The solutions that change nations are those that tackle urgent human challenges. Nano Health did that, and now it's your turn. So the third one is share your story with the world. So India is too often defined by its challenges instead of its brilliance. And you have the power to change that narrative. You do, you do. So tell your story, show your progress, let the world witness the ambition and the creativity you, Indian youth, have. And then build as a community, not individuals. So as the global community manager, for me, it's easy to say, but I would like to tell you that the greatest breakthroughs emerge from ecosystems, not egos. When you uplift each other across teams, across cities, across universities, you elevate not just your ideas, but India's global reputation for innovation. And let me say something with complete honesty. The global ecosystem already sees India as one of the most important centers of innovation in Hult Prize. Your scale, your talent pool, your intellectual rigor, it is respected. But respect is not the destination, right? The destination nation is impact, its influence, its legacy. And your legacy begins now. So as you step into this bootcamp from idea to venture, I challenge you to treat the next days or the next hours not as a series of sessions, but as the beginning of your entrepreneurial identity. Push harder than you think you can. Ask tougher questions than you asked before. Build with purpose. Lead with humility and collaborate with generosity. Because somewhere in this virtual room, I do believe that the next nano health is waiting to be born. And when it emerges, it will not only transform lives, it will remind the world once again why India is unmistakably a force in global innovation. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you on this journey. Thank you so much, everyone, and best of luck.
Thank you, Mom, for your insightful words and kickstarting the event. So I would like to throw a light on how far we've come. So this year, we're happy to share that the response has been immense, and more than 1,800 young change makers from across the world have have signed up and registered for the event from universities across India, China, Malaysia, Singapore, Nepal, and beyond. So have expressed interest in this event and are part of this program. So that's the size of this truly global entrepreneur movement. So also last year, participants took their ideas into a real world competition, showcasing their purpose driven innovations and their connection with the sustainable development goals. So this year, all of us, we aim higher. So, moving on with the session, up next, we have a leader who has nurtured the Hult Prize ecosystem in the Central and South Asia, supporting student entrepreneurs from idea to execution. So, I would like to please welcome Supriya Jangre, the regional manager of Central and South Asia Hult Prize Foundation. So, she'll be sharing more about the impact journey of the bootcamp and what it aims to unlock from each one of us. Over to you, ma'am.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Gayatri, for the kind introduction. Before we even begin, I think a big thank you to Lakshant, Shailesh, and your campus director, Anuj, for inviting me and for all the effort you've put into building this 3 series bootcamp for everyone here who aspires to be an entrepreneur with Hult Prize. Introducing myself again, I'm Supriya Jangre. I'm the regional manager for Central and South Asia at the Hult Prize. And speaking a bit about Hult Prize, at the Hult Prize, we're essentially on a mission of changing the world through social entrepreneurship. How do we do that? We do that by inspiring youth from all around the globe to tackle the world's largest issues through innovation and change. To participate in Hult Prize, students from all around the world, they form teams and they build for-profit and for-good startups that are aligned with at least one United Nations Sustainable Development Goal to create real impact with their ventures. Last year alone, we had about 15,000 youth-led social startups participate from 130 countries. And I think we had more than 1,000 of these startups coming from India. India has always been one of our strongest communities. Hundreds of students like you have launched their impact ventures through Hult Prize over the last 15 years, and lakhs of community members continue to support our shared mission of making the world a better place. So thank you for being here today, for joining Hult Prize, and for choosing to be a part of this bootcamp hosted by IIT Bombay, and for being the next generation working towards real change through social enterprise. I'm truly excited to be here today because IIT Bombay has been a key part of building an ecosystem of successful entrepreneurs for decades now, and it's also the host of India National Competition at the Hult Prize. In just 4 months, we will have 100 selected startups from hopefully many of you present here today, pitching for a place in our digital incubator and competing for the $1 million USD prize. So thank you again to the entire organizing team. Thank you so much, Dr. Anu Narasimhan, for joining us today. And I hope each one of you makes the most of this session, learn as much as you can. And I look forward to meeting you all in person again at IIT Bombay at the India Nationals very soon. Good luck and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your insightful words. I would take the opportunity on behalf of Hult Prize IIT Bombay and the Hult Prize India team to officially inaugurate the Global Entrepreneurship Bootcamp 2025 with great excitement. Let the ideas start brewing and the ventures start building. A quick glimpse about what's ahead and in store for all of you. So we have over the coming next 4 weeks, we have 5 focused hands-on sessions planned, from identifying real problems to building business ideas, branding, and pitching each session, which brings you closer to your startup. So every session will include assignments and quizzes. So make sure that you complete them on time. And there are also checkpoints towards building your validated venture blueprint and also earning your certificate. So now, through introducing our core speaker for the day, I would like to, it's my privilege to introduce Professor Anuradha Narasimhan, who has been, who's a faculty member at IIT Bombay of Desai Sethi School of Entrepreneurship. So she teaches entrepreneurship courses and mentors students through their entrepreneurial journey via one-on-one discussions and also structured early stage venture creation programs. We would like to hear about her in her own words. So ma'am, we're honored to have you guide our participants today about the idea generation and its evaluation, the problem discovery, and also thinking through the sustainable solutions for the problems discovered. So over to you, ma'am. So I hand over the spotlight to you.
Thank you, Gayatri. And it's a pleasure to meet Joanna and a pleasure to meet you, Supriya. And we welcome you to join us at IIT Bombay at the regionals that happen here. And it's indeed our honor to have something as prestigious as the Hult Prize to be hosted at IIT Bombay. Really, really honored by that. And very happy to be the opening speaker today, so to say. So all of you, all the students who are here on this call, what I'd like to do in this next hour or thereabouts is to make you think of problems, to make you think of opportunities and come up with ideas. So, and I think Gayatri has an assignment for you, which she has discussed with me. So my plan is to walk you through maybe about 20 slides or so to help you with the first assignment. And the assignment is about coming up with an idea that you would like to form a venture team around and take it through the Hult Prize competition. We all live, actually, you all live in a very, I won't say fortunate, but I'd say in this regard, a little fortunate, where there are ecosystems that exist, where you can come up with a thought and pursue it. And, they say it takes a village, but you have more than a village, you have a global village that is happy to support great ideas which can become impactful as we go forward. I am now going to do this technology thing of trying to share my screen. And let's see if that works. So, Gayatri, let me know if my screen is not showing.
No, ma'am, we can see it. Perfect.
Okay. So, title, I have my email ID right up front and reasonably well known to respond to queries that come from students for sure. Gayatri, I'm not able to see the chat. So maybe sometime whenever there is a natural break in the discussion, you could let me know if there are any, not just questions, even if there's a comment or a thought, So feel free to use the chat box, all of you. Like I said, we're going to talk about problems and opportunities and ideas. But before that, I'd like to tell India's entrepreneurship story. Um, and my apologies. I wish I had known that there were people from other countries too. Make sure that some of the data is available as we go forward. But we, as the country, have the third highest number of unicorns. The US is the largest number. China and us are not too very far from. So as we speak, it's not 118, it's 125. And if you look at the picture on the right, many of you will know brands that are here. There's Oyo here, there's CoinBCX, there's Ola, there'll be Swiggy. There'll be many of these brands that all of you are used to using and as consumers and as users. But that's really not the reason why I want you to be entrepreneurs. And for those of you who wonder what the word unicorn means, and I'm reasonably sure most of you know it, but for the benefit of even if there is a one person in the room who doesn't understand that the term unicorn is used for a startup which has $1 billion in valuation, which in today's terms in Indian rupees would be about almost 9,000 crores. So the value, if that company were to be sold today, it would be sold at 9,000 crores. Now that's a large valuation, and that's why they're called unicorns. What I'd like you to think about is the impacts that you can make. And Joanna, I'm sorry, referred to it as the impact that the Hult Prize creates. And so therefore, I'd like you to think of that while I talk for the next 40 minutes or so. This is data from Indian Tech Startup Funding Report. Many sources of information available. There is a website called Traction. There's a website called Vinos. All of these give you data. If you need access, I don't know if I can provide you access, but I can get you the data if Gayatri gets me an understanding that some of it is what you need. So by sectors, if you can see, there are fintech, there is e-commerce, there is enterprise tech, which is serving companies, there's consumer services, and there's media and entertainment. It's waiting for all of you to come and do social, so that one new thing gets added into this kitty, which is called social entrepreneurs. And look forward to the Hult Prize creating entrepreneurs like that. This is one of my favorite charts because it helps me explain what the country used to be in 1990 or 1989, as it says here. This was the time that Infosys, Wipro, and HCL, and Tata Consulting Services and Cognizant were taking off. So the IT services is what put India on the global map. So that was 1990 to say. And 2015, which is 25 years later, is when the startups took off. And for me, I graduated from IIT in 1990, from IIT Bombay. And this is the world I know, which is everybody was trying to be a software engineer. But today, everyone I speak to in my class wants to be an entrepreneur. I laugh and joke that most of us can't spell the word entrepreneurship. Many of us can't pronounce the word entrepreneurship, but all my students want to be entrepreneurs. And I'm very proud of all of you who are on this call. And the projections that were made for this ecosystem were that there would be 100,000 startups. So as we speak now, there are 197,000 startups. They employ more than 3.5 million people. And if you see, we are comparing the startup ecosystem with the IT services ecosystem, which has these powerful names like, Infosys and HCL and TCS and Wipro and Cognizant and so on. They employ about 4.5 million people. Startups employ about 3.5 million people. We are number 3, not yet number 2. And the message from this slide is really, while in the IT services, a small number of companies employ large numbers of people. In the startup world, many companies give jobs to 4, 5, 6, 10, 20, 50 people. So all of you who are on this call today and want to participate in the Hult competition will be job creators. You will not be job seekers. And that's the opportunity the Hult Prize and other such competitions offer you. So think of a startup or think of a venture from the ability to create an impact to make a difference, to be socially relevant, and to be able to create value and employ people rather than seeking a job for yourself. Um, these are three words which are used as a continuum: creativity, innovation, and entrepreneurship. As we talk about how to become an entrepreneur or how to create a startup. So, the first part of it is what you're currently involved in, which is uh, which is this part, which is discovery of opportunities. So the creativity is really about discovery of opportunities, discovery of problems, discovery of opportunities. And the output of this stage is an idea. It's simply put, an idea. It can be written in 5 words. It can be written as one elevator pitch, which is perhaps about 30 words or so. But that's the stage you are all currently in, which is how do you discover an opportunity? The process of innovation refines ideas, iterates ideas, and evaluates them. So at the end of this, you will have maybe not one prototype, but maybe a couple of prototypes. I know one more Hult Prize. I'm not sure she was the winner, like the ISB team, Nano Health. Banofi is the name of the product brand, and she's making leather products out of banana plant, uh, I mean, various parts of the banana plant. So it's you get to a stage where you will create multiple prototypes. And entrepreneurship is really when you leverage these opportunities and create value by having customers that want your products or solutions and by employing people. So the output here is new product. Today, we're going to focus on the first stage, which is how do we discover an opportunity and generate an idea. Can I have any one person tell me if this is going at the right pace or is this too fast? Gayatri or anybody else who's on the call? Are we good?
Yes, ma'am, it's going good.
Okay, fine. Thank you. It's very difficult to speak to an audience when you cannot see their faces, but I'm going to do my best. So, what are the characteristics of opportunities? The characteristics of opportunities are essentially just three. They have to be new. Nobody wants a gisapita idea. Nobody wants something that has already been done before. So everybody wants a new thing to buy, and all of us are like that. You guys probably just started with Netflix, but my generation started with no television, then black and white television, then only Doordarshan. Then we went to cable TV, and then we went to multiple channels. Then we had global content come in, and now all of us stream media or stream content on our phones or our laptops, and we don't need a television screen at all. So there is newness, which is very important. There is a desirability, which means some user or some set of users would need to want the solution. So in the case of the Hult Prize finalist, let me call her a finalist because I don't know where she had reached, but she was definitely a regional finalist, if not a global finalist. The perceived desirability was from a set of brands that wanted to go sustainable, and leather was not the raw material that they wanted to use. They were willing to educate their end users, and therefore, the perceived desirability in this case was a combination of companies that wanted to go green and sustainable and a small set of customers starting to want that. But the companies knew that they would be able to change the path and get more and more people wanting to go green and sustainable. And I know that the Hult Prize has that as a motivation, not just a motivation. The Hult Prize has that as a guideline, which is that any idea that you come up with has to be sustainable. We have to have planet Earth as long as possible. And so perceived desirability is always in the eyes of somebody else, not just the person who comes up with the idea, but someone who's going to buy someone who's going to use the product or to use that solution. And the third one that's written there says potential economic value. I may have the world's best idea, but if no one's willing to put money down for it and buy it, it has no economic value. It's a very simple statement. Great ideas are those that somebody else wants to put down money to buy. And I've had this discussion with students in my class who say, I want to do a social entrepreneurship. I want to do something which is good for society. Why should it make money? I agree, it doesn't have to make money like the unicorn kind of make money. But if you don't make profit, your startup will shut down. So you can make profit and put it back into the business. You can keep your pricing very low so that the people you want to serve are able to afford it. But if you don't charge at all, how will your startup continue? Luckily for us today, there are grant giving organizations, the Hult Prize being one, many philanthropic organizations that give grants, but they give grants for teams like y'all to develop product, to develop solutions. But nobody is buying them on a sustainable basis. People might buy for the first 6 months to prove that this works. They might buy a nutritious product and give it in a midday meal scheme to demonstrate that, yes, iron levels can go up or whatever is the malnutrition can be addressed. But over time, if it does not stand on its own feet and does not make money, the company or the startup will shut down. So as you are thinking of an idea, you have to think of newness, you have to think of desirability, meaning who would want this solution or which groups of people would want this solution. And how much money would they put down to buy the solution? The fourth one is not even highlighted because it's table stakes. Of course, any idea that you come up with has to be legally, ethically, regulatorily in line with whatever are the norms and rules and guidelines of the countries that you will operate in. So you have to think of your ideas from a newness, desirability, and an economic value perspective. This is one way of finding ideas. So those of you who are economic students or sociology students may have seen this pyramid. This pyramid is called the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. At the bottom of the pyramid, you have physiological needs, which in Hindi we call roti kapda or makan. In English, I'd call it air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, all of that. And most importantly, in today's world, all my students add Wi-Fi to this. Wi-Fi has almost become a physiological need. In the middle of the pyramid, you get to a love and belonging and an esteem need, which are referred to here as psychological needs. And after that, when you have had your fair share of uh, money, recognition, respect, friendship, you want to self actualize, which again in Indian words is called nirvana, or it's a desire to become the most of what can be. And so, if you look at any product category, you will find needs that go from the physiological, which is basic, all the way to self fulfillment. And I will give you an example of a category which all of you are very familiar with. So, I'm going to talk about mobile phones. So, at the lowest order of need in mobile phones, I'm going to try and see if this works, Gayatri. Can those of you who are listening to me write what kind of basic needs are there from at what basic need does a mobile phone serve? And I'll rely on Gayatri and whoever else is a volunteer to read them out to me. So, quick question for the group category mobile phones. What is the basic need that a mobile phone serves? I give a minute, and if we have some, read them out. If we
Yeah,
don't,
we have a lot of
so read some.
replies coming in. So call, communication, call and
Chart,
text,
chart,
contact, connecting
chart,
people.
chart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So connecting people is not a basic need.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I mean, in today's
Yeah,
world,
multiple
perhaps it's
things
a
come in.
basic need. No, no, I'm fine with that. It just
Yeah.
tells how evolved many of us are. So, for example, the phone at the basic need is a feature phone. Most likely, nobody in this audience of 300 people has a basic feature phone. We all have smartphones. So, that need of call and text and just talking to one's relative or talking to one's customer or whatever can be addressed by a basic feature phone. Nokia used to make just the basic feature phones. As we get to the middle of the pyramid, we all have psychological needs. So that's the connecting, friendship, so on and so forth. And therefore, now I ask you to write the features of your phones that is addressing the love and belonging need. The love and belonging need does not have to be man woman love. It's friendship, it's family, it's a sense of connection. So, second question for you: what kind of phones, or more importantly, what kind of apps do you have which help you fulfill some of your psychological needs through a mobile phone? Again, Gayatri, if you can read them, be nice.
Yes, mom. I'm waiting for the.
Sure.
Okay.
So the
Uh,
question is, go
so,
ahead.
so a lot of them are saying social media platforms,
Absolutely.
WhatsApp,
Absolutely.
social media,
Absolutely.
Instagram, yeah, video
Absolutely.
calling, yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. So social
YouTube,
media
Netflix,
platforms,
entertainment.
yeah, all of you have it bang on, which is
Yes.
that a mobile phone, after it has satisfied your basic need of text and calling and being connected with your immediate family, it start offering you psychological fulfillment through your social media, whether it's Insta or whether it's WhatsApp or YouTube or any of them. Can any of you tell me what on your phone provides you a safety need? Any app or any part of your phone that makes you feel safe? Being safe is a very basic need. Being safe is still not a basic need this country has addressed to any level of satisfaction. So, the question for you: what in your phone addresses a safety need that you might have, which is a very basic need in a phone, a very basic need in an individual?
Yeah, so we have few answers. It says emergency contacts, lock features, iManager, location, GPS,
Perfect.
privacy,
Perfect.
parking
Perfect.
device, yeah,
Perfect.
SOS.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
So when I was, I don't remember, 30 is when I think the mobile phones came into the country. They didn't have any of these features. They were black and white, they had text, and they had call, and they had nothing else. No GPS. The safety was I had a phone, which means I could call somebody if I was in trouble. Okay. But no location tracking. I cannot live without location tracking any longer. So this is how products and solutions get designed. I'll ask you the esteemed question. It's going to be a little more fun. So, what about mobile phones gives all of us in our own ways a sense of esteem or status? So, the question: what about a mobile phone or your mobile phone gives you, and I'll answer the question for myself also, gives you a sense of esteem, of status, of recognition? So again, waiting for Gayatri to give me some answers, and I will play them back to you.
Yeah, everyone's saying the brand of the phone, followers, and like yeah, we have
Absolutely,
the iPhone
absolutely,
branding,
absolutely. So the brand.
size,
So here
feature.
is where the battle between the iPhone and the Samsung begins. The
Yeah.
battle between the brand and design on one side. I'm an iPhone user, but I seriously think Samsung and Google Pixel are perhaps higher performing phones. But the esteem, and I learned a word from my students. They use the word flex. When they want to say esteem, they use flex. It allows me to flex. That's what they use it like. So that's esteem. The self actualization will be a little difficult, and I don't have the time perhaps. So I'll tell you the addiction I have to my phone is coming in my way of becoming the best I can be. And therefore, If somebody makes a phone, which is, it may be expensive, but it says we are going back to the basic needs of phone, you will only have 10 people's numbers stored on this phone, not the hundreds that we all aspire for today. I'll say, oh, wow, this is exactly the phone that I wanted. It will block every other caller, and only those 10 people or 4 people or whatever can call me. So that is how the world moves for any category. And my next slide is the SDG, which is the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And for each of these, so for example, let's take hunger, which is the second UN SDG. And let's go back here. Even today, after 75 years of independence, people in India go to bed hungry. And the reason is not because we don't produce enough food. The country produces enough food. The world produces enough food to feed the 7 million people who inhabit the earth today. It's just poor distribution. It's just that some have too much and some have too little. So even after 75 years of independence, as a nation, we haven't solved the simple, most basic need of food. If I go to air, I can talk forever. You cannot go, you cannot be in Delhi without feeling your throat constricting, especially in these October, November, December months. Water is a scarce, I mean, potable water. Uh, all of us have seen long lines, lorries that drive across our cities, women in rural India walking long distances to get water. So 75 years of independence, and we are not, I mean, we are an emerging country. And we still have so many of our basic needs to be fulfilled. So what I'm going to ask you to do, and I don't need you to give me the answer in the chat or anything, but I'm going to stay with this slide for a minute. And maybe it will help you think about why you registered for the Hult Prize. Which of these SDGs resonate with you? The hunger one resonates with me a lot. Quality of education resonates. So I'll just leave on this slide for all of you to just write a small note to yourself. If you don't have a pen and paper, you have a phone with you, text yourself. Which of these bothers you? Which of these resonates with you? And where would you like to come up with um, a solution for? Yeah. Um, the examples I gave you of air and even water to some extent are almost as if we went up the pyramid, but we have fallen back. AQI is a classic example. We all had much better, purer air to breathe. We've gone up, enjoyed it, and have fallen back. So, can I move? So, the intent of showing you these two slides is for you to understand that there are basic needs, there are psychological needs, and self fulfillment needs. And any idea you come up with could be at any of these levels. The only thing you have to understand is today there is probably nothing that is fully unmet as a need. Somebody would have found the solution somewhere in the world. So it's not purely unmet, but many needs are underserved. Please hang on to that word. An underserved need is something you should go after. Don't worry about the fact that, storage of electric vehicle battery, Australia has done and the US has found solutions. India has its own needs. Yeah, so an underserved need is more than good enough for you to address. So today we said we were talking about coming up with a problem you wish to solve, a problem and an opportunity at the lower end of the pyramid or the base of the pyramid. We call them a problem because they have not been met. At the middle of the pyramid and at the top of the pyramid, we call them an opportunity. So iPhone serves an opportunity, not a problem. Nobody needs to spend 1 lakh rupees over a connectivity problem. We can spend 5,000 rupees and get a feature phone to address this need of being connected. So the needs are at the lowest level. and the wants are at the middle level. So problems at the lower end of the pyramid, opportunities at the middle and higher end of the pyramid. Just multiple words. I want you to stay with this word called underserved need. And underserved need in any of these is what the Hult Prize would like you to work on. So I'm now going to try and show you how can you find out the need. So first way of uncovering an unmet need or an underserved need or a problem is to become the customer yourself. So if you are the customer, if you are the user, if the word customer is causing issues, think of yourself as a user. So many of my students who stay in hostel tell me the biggest problem they have is that the mess food is really bad. So is it worth solving? Bad tasting food is also worth solving, but more importantly, unhealthy, non-nutritious food just filling the stomach is definitely worth solving. Yeah. So be the customer. That's one. The second and more important one is to live with and observe customers. So go to a place you normally don't go to. Yeah. So or have a conversation with the auto wala, or have a conversation with the shopkeeper and understand the challenges that they face. These are not the classic challenges that we will know, because our worlds may come from mess food, stress of academics, etc., etc. But go live or go observe. It's very difficult to live, but it's relatively okay to observe the lives of people that you would like to make a difference to. So observe people, call them users, call them citizens, call them whatever, observe them. The other is to talk and understand the voice of the customer. So sometimes I find, even though in this call I've spoken a lot of English, I normally in my classes do a lot of Hindi. I didn't do Hindi today because I didn't know how many of you don't know Hindi and where you come from. But the real juice or the real meat of the discussion comes in the language that the customer uses by themselves. So it's unlikely to be English if we are not a native English speaking customer. We don't ask them direct questions. When you ask a direct question, if I ask you, do you need an iPhone? The answer is yes, no, and the conversation ends. Yeah. But if I ask you, why do you think you need a phone? Then the conversation is a much longer conversation. Or if I ask you a question, which is, what are the largest challenges that you face today? That conversation can last for hours. If you go talk to your grandparents and say, um, I come from Tamil Nadu, so I call my grandparents Tata and Pati or Nana and Nani or whatever, कि आपकी लाइफ में आज आपको क्या-क्या तकलीफें होती हैं? So I've tried to make it as broad a question as possible. And because it is your grandparents, they'll say, Beta, thank you for asking us this question. Very few people ask this question. So that's the first problem. But now that you've asked the question, let's tell you that, we don't feel secure, we feel disconnected, whatever. I'm not going there. But that's the way of asking a question. So one is observation, one is being the customer, being your own customer yourself. Two is about observing people. And three is talking to people, although talking is the wrong word. Listening to people is the more right word. But people don't talk unless you have to start by saying, I was talking to a group of friends, or I have enrolled in the Hult Prize competition, and we really want to solve a current problem that some segment of users face. And one thing I want to leave with you, you don't have to solve the problems of the entire country. That is the government's task. You don't have to evaluate your idea on, does it serve all 7 billion people in the world? Does it solve the problem for 1.5 billion people in India? Not important. It's good to have, But it's not the only thing. We can solve problems for a smaller set of people for whom the problem is very tightly defined. Yeah. So senior citizens, I don't know where they feature under, but there would be a segment under each of these, which is perhaps senior citizens at the age where I am. I care or I listen to a lot more of the challenges and concerns that senior citizens have today. So discover a problem by being the customer, by observing customers, and by talking and listening to the customer. You should not talk to potential customers or potential users and say, we've come up with this idea, it's a product, it's like this, it does this, it does this. No. First, you have to start with understanding what they need. So always start with an open conversation, which is, like I said, what are the larger challenges that you experience today? Maybe if you don't want to directly go to challenges, which is a slightly negative kind of thought, it's not. But if you feel that way, you can start by asking people what are the big changes that they are seeing. So they will tell you that today everything is technology oriented. It's become a mobile phone generation. My children don't speak to me. We are sitting at a table and everybody's on a phone. Phones are great, but they are, so I'm going on continuing with my phone example. But essentially, you can start a conversation by asking what are the changes that they have seen, that they are experiencing, and then going to asking them what are the challenges that they are challenges or concerns they are experiencing. Can I take a minute and ask you to think of your own grandparents or senior citizens and write in the chat box a problem that you have seen them. I'm just seeing whether whatever I'm telling you are able to relate to or not. So get started on your chat box. The chat box. The question is: think of your grandparents or think of senior citizens. They don't have to be your grandparents. They can be just people you know. What kind of problems or needs that you see someone who's 70 plus today in India need? The question for you, Gayatri, stays the same. Keep looking out and call out a few.
Okay, ma'am. One thing is health issues, and then loneliness, not taking
Yes,
medicine.
yes. Oh, loneliness. Such a
That
wonderfully written one line. So thank you, Gayatri. I'll stay with the word loneliness. When you
okay.
have a problem, now you don't need 6 words, 8 words, 10 words. In that one word, whoever wrote loneliness captured a real, genuine problem that senior citizens face. Okay. Now I'm going to use that. Just I know that there were many more, but I'm also, in the interest of time, I also want to talk after I finish my slides. So, depending on how you are on time. So, for loneliness, there are multiple ways of skinning this cat called loneliness. You can either do it through digital, or they might say digital is the cause of my loneliness. So, maybe there are senior citizen um, meeting centers we should create, etc. I don't know. But the moment you say something, and the moment you said loneliness, whoever wrote it struck a chord with me. So this is how you come up with so 2 ways. You look at the SDG, always have, in fact, you should, if possible, keep a print of this or in your, at least for the next 6-8 months that you're on the Hult Prize, keep this as your screensaver, and you will come up with thoughts of problems and needs and ideas from there. Huh? Gayatri, any more that resonated with you? So call out a couple more. Health is right. Loneliness is right.
There's regret, not able to use technology,
Sure. Oh, that's such a
multiple.
solvable
Yeah, I
problem.
think personally, I feel accessibility to facilities, and that is a big issue.
Sure. Sure. Someone
Forgetting
who wrote
things,
this.
memory loss,
Sure.
dependence.
Sure.
Yeah.
Dependence. Oh, another big word. So you have to double click on dependence.
Yeah.
What does the problem of dependence mean? So double click on it, and I'm not going there right now. But I'll use another one which one of you has written, which is not being able to use technology. Are we can create social ventures around teaching older people how to use technology, especially those whose kids do not live with them currently, and have migrated to a bigger town for jobs and so on and so forth. So this is how you find a problem. Okay. Um, then you start applying some left brain thought on how is this problem or need currently being satisfied. So I'll tell you this issue of use of technology. My mother is slightly better now, but otherwise she'd keep asking my niece, yeah, show me how to do this. Is the present method efficient? And the answer is no, because my niece went off to college to study. So now my mother is stuck. What is good about the current method? What can be a new method? Has an underserved need been discovered? So this is what you will do in the assignment. But the reason for doing this is, if you find a problem worth solving, the rest of it becomes easier and easier. Huh? So how do you find opportunities? These are slightly at a 30,000 feet above, but I'll explain them to you. Some are tech-based opportunities. Today, if you can find AI and say that I will use AI to solve the problem of uh, senior citizens finding technology challenging. Even as I'm saying it, I'm wondering how it can be done, but I'm sure it can be done. So there are technology shifts. Today's technology shift is artificial intelligence. There was a technology shift which was just mobile phones some time back. Moore's law is about how computing gets faster and faster. It's not so important. Let me tell you a couple of the ones from society. So one part of society, the last one, changes in how we live, work, learn. Many of you are going to be employers or even employees in a gig economy. So, in a gig economy, most young people won't have the benefit of having an employer take care of all health insurance and that kind of stuff. Yeah, because you will be working for yourself. You will have multiple gigs that you do. What implications does that have for young people, especially in tier 2, tier 3 cities, is a question worth asking, and is a problem worth solving. There is a societal change which all of us are experiencing, or maybe have already adopted into, which is online shopping. I don't know how many of you ever go to shops any longer. So, uh, how do you bring online shopping to? Actually, tier 2 and tier 3 are big beneficiaries of online shopping, because the same kind of products would not have been available to them in showrooms, because most such showrooms would have existed in tier 1 or maybe some tier 2 cities. Regulatory changes, COVID. Think of all the times that we were masked up. Think of all the times that we were, sanitizing all the time. So either opportunities that come because of technology, or opportunities that come because of societal changes. The technology ones, I didn't do justice beyond AI. But if you think of things that can solve healthcare, uh, work that is happening in biology, not just for human beings, but even in agriculture. So there are domains now. There's a domain which is so big, which is called agri-tech, which is how can technology improve agriculture? And lots of work happening there. So those of you who are technologically oriented should read at least a few domains. So India today has a mission around semiconductors. Agri has been a mission for a while now. Robotics. India has an AI mission, which recently brought out a white paper. So those of you who are technologically oriented should read a little more about this. Yeah. The other, which is how do you recognize opportunities? This word called rant list. Uh, the word rant means I'm ranting. The best food is bad. Profs give us too much assignment. It takes too long from my hostel to go to classes. There is not enough time given between classes. I want to participate in extracurricular activities, but there is no time. This is the standard rant list of an IIT Bombay student. So then you say, within this, I want to take up this to solve. So that's one. Observing, reading, and looking for trends. How do you generate ideas? You come up with a problem, then you get together a group of 2, 3, 4 people and you brainstorm on how you want to solve the problem. So I'm going to repeat and I'll keep going back to this slide that the problems are at the base of the pyramid. Opportunities typically are at the middle and the top of the pyramid. Ideas are those that solve a problem or they address an opportunity. I keep coming back to this word, keep looking for an underserved need to solve. Yeah. No, that's good. So this is a quick method of assessment. You should want to make something that people want and sell it profitably to many of them in perpetuity. Can't write a business idea better that I'll make something that instead of want, I can make it need also. Need is even better than wanting. Sell it profitably. Doesn't have to be very high profit, but it has to be profit. Otherwise, our company won't survive. To many of them, to many at the base of the pyramid, middle of the pyramid, perpetuity means forever. Yeah. But I will teach you a method of evaluating an opportunity. So first question we ask is there a burning need? So if I go to the AQI in Delhi, which is the air quality index in Delhi, is there a burning need to solve the problem? And the answer is yes. The burning need is your eyes are burning. And literally your eyes are burning. I think every one of the SDGs is a burning need for some sets of society. So while India has done well in moving a large chunk out of poverty. In fact, the Indian, I don't have a slide, but I'll use this to explain. Typically, population is like a pyramid, which is large numbers at the bottom, lesser at the middle, and really small at the top. What India's economic pyramid currently looks like is a diamond. So we have reduced, diamond means the bottom has become smaller. So the people who are in abject poverty have been, definitely the numbers have come down considerably. Yeah. So, but even then, we still haven't met the hunger problem. We haven't met the fresh produce problem. We haven't met the malnutrition problem. We may be feeding people, but we are not feeding people good food. So that's what. So your first question to your problem should be: is loneliness a burning need? And the answer is yes. The answer is loneliness is a burning need for senior citizens, maybe 65 to 85 years of age, who live in tier 2 and tier 3 cities because their children have moved to bigger cities in search of better jobs and better employment. So burning need. And burning need, you don't have to ask anybody. Apne aap se you will be able to understand whether it's a burning need or not. I am not a very big believer on the big opportunity. Therefore, I write it as big enough opportunity. Everybody does not have to solve problems for 1.5 billion Indians. I already said that. So is it large enough for you to want to invest your time and your resources behind it? Is what the big enough opportunity question is. I'll take a minute and explain what is a scalable business model. And I'll use the example of this loneliness. I certainly at some point want to do this, which is, we all have, at our age, of course, my age, I have a child who's currently grown up. But I remember sending my child to a daycare center. And the daycare center was not for academics. The daycare center was a social place, was for my child to stay somewhere while I went to work. But more importantly, to make friends, to learn social skills, and spend the day productively. I'd like to do the same for senior citizens. So if I thought of it, I will start with one center and maybe do it in Koramangala in Bangalore, because that's where my heart is and that's where I know my way around. And after I've done it in one place, I should be able to repeat that without too much effort in multiple locations. If every time is a new effort, it is not scalable. Meaning, if every time you do something, it's like doing a new startup, that's not what is called a scalable business model. I think you all should focus on the fourth one. The third, again, less important. Fourth is differentiated. And on the Hult Prize, we want you to come up with solutions or ideas which are differentiated because they are sustainable. So I already spoke of the example of this girl, Barofi is the product's name, who makes false leather from, so it doesn't use leather from animals, which is non-sustainable. Every I used to work at a food company. All our wrappers are made of plastic. Can I do sustainable packaging? So the differentiation that the Hult Prize would like from all of you is think of an idea, figure out if it has a burning need with a set of people, figure if it is big enough for you to want to spend your time on it. How can you make that a sustainable idea? And the last question, which is actually the most important, is why is this problem worth solving now? And why do you want to solve this problem? The us doesn't mean me. Us means whoever wants to, the entrepreneur. So why now? Loneliness is a big problem as more and more people migrate to bigger cities and even countries abroad. So it's a problem which is burning today. As long as India had a joint family system, loneliness was not so big. But as our joint family system gives way to more nuclear families, it's something that needs to be solved now. Why me? I want to see all this problem because I see it around me and it bothers me. These are the people who gave me my first connections in life. And I don't think as a culture we are doing justice to them. I mean, these are my birds and not necessarily the best of them. But every grant giver, every VC fund, every investor is looking for 1 and 2 and 5. They want to know what is the burning need? Why is now a good time to solve it? Is it a large enough opportunity? The fourth, which is a differentiated positioning, I didn't cover because we want you to focus on the sustainability part of the positioning. And why you, as a young entrepreneur, why you, as your team, want to solve this problem. And it doesn't have to be a social, in the Hult Prize, it has to be a social problem. But in startup, we still want to know, but you want to do this AI based idea. Why this idea? And you will say how you are a computer science nerd or a geek, and this you chanced upon, you read some paper, you read a report, and you said, wow, I can solve this through this way. And that's why I'm interested in it. So the opportunity assessment framework is you think of a problem. Is it a large problem? Is it a burning need? Is it a large problem? Is it possible to get a differentiated, sustainable positioning in this? And why does it matter to you? And why is it a good problem to solve now? Is that, sorry, I was on a trot. So some emojis that Gayatri can see. Tell me if we are going well. And it's okay to do a thumbs down and I can do slower if you want. I'm almost at the end of what I had brought together for you. Um, I'm going to give you an example of the innovation process. So I started by saying that we have creativity, which is the discovery of opportunity. Then you will reach innovation, which is you will evaluate the opportunity, refine the idea, iterate the idea, and then take it to the marketplace. So today I've kind of got a little bit of the first two in my conversation with you. I think I've spoken a fair bit about the discovery of opportunity. I'm going to talk about innovation, and for that, I'm going to use an example. The example I'm using is something that I worked on. And here, the problem that Britannia identified was that diabetes was large. I think there were the problem of diabetes was a large one. It was a burning need for people who were suffering from diabetes. So what did we do? We must have met 100 customers in person, men and women, mostly about the ages of 40, in Delhi, in Bombay, in Chennai, and one small town, I mean, smaller town. I'm going to say Varanasi, although Varanasi is not strictly a very small town. So the insights that we got, people told us that they have energy dips during the day. But I'll tell you the ones that mattered the most. This one says people with diabetes feel deprived. They feel that a large part of their life has been taken away from them. They're not able to eat stuff. People are constantly fussing over them. They don't have the right product. They get advice from practically everyone. So they feel that independence, they feel underconfident. Okay, so this was something that we tracked as an insight. what did we do for idea? For the idea, we said that all diabetic people have their medication. They've also started this morning walk kind of exercise. The caregiver in the family, typically in India, a homemaker who's a woman, but not necessarily a woman, provides the right food. Uh, but there is no right snack for diabetes. So this was our space in the sun, which is, of course, everybody has started taking medication because doctors give you medication. It's easy to take medicine, so people pop their pills. They've started doing this 30 minutes of walk in the morning. They get dabba for lunch and they get a home cooked meal, but nobody has thought of a right snack. So we thought of that, and this was our solution. The snack was, it had zero added sugar, it had reduced fat, it had high fiber, it had some other positives. This is a very technical graph which essentially says that for people with diabetes, the food should be digested in the system slowly, not immediately. So this was our, if I can call it, this was our brief. It's called a product brief. This is what we told our R&D people, that please now create a product like this. But most importantly, it has to be tasty. So all of this you do, and then you don't find taste in it, nobody's going to consume it. Yeah. And this was the final. So this is the campaign. We wanted to talk in a language which was friendly. We actually, because we were the first people in the industry, said, hello, diabetes, let's be friends. I actually only want you focusing on the insight. I showed you all four to make the point. This brand went on to be 100 crores in about 2 years, I'm going to say. I don't remember now. But it was also because it came from Britannia. It's a 100-year-old company. The distribution is very powerful. We had the money to raise awareness, etc. So that's not the important part. What I want you to focus on is, if I take loneliness, can you come up with these post-its? The rest of it can come later. So that's what you have to focus on, which is on going to people and talking to them and observing them and listening to them and coming up with the insights on the problems that they are facing. So that's the homework really for you. And I am going to pass this. Going to stay with the last slide, which is what is entrepreneurship. There are opportunities which are new and novel. They are desirable by a set of people. They have economic value. More importantly, the bunch of people like you who are addressing these opportunities have a passionate mindset, have a fighter mindset, and have the skill set. And they will gain independence, they will create wealth. Doesn't matter if you want to create wealth for yourself, or you want to create for your employees, or you want to create wealth not in the money sense, but in the larger health is wealth sense for your customers. So, this is what entrepreneurs do. And through the Hult Prize, this is the opportunity you have to start this journey. Start with a problem or an opportunity. I'll keep calling it a problem because for me, in the UN SDGs, many of those problems have not been solved yet. Many of these problems have not been solved for certain sets of audiences. And given that the Hult Prize focuses on social entrepreneurship and on green or ecological or sustainability oriented entrepreneurship, I think that we have a long way to go, and you will find problems to address. You'll have to come up with ideas for those. Mm, I am, sorry. I'll come back here. Let me talk to you about, Gayatri, would you like to do this, or is it okay if I just take this once and then take questions from them?
You can give them an overview of it, and then
I can
I
do an
can do.
overview. Sure, sure. So this is your first assignment. So you will come up with a problem, which is a problem statement. Um, a problem statement, it needs three things. So that's why I was trying to show you this. That any idea that you come up with has to have a what is it, who is it for, and why is it valuable. Okay. So your problem statement will be loneliness, but it should also say loneliness for senior citizens living in tier 2, tier 3 cities whose children have gone off, migrated to bigger cities. So I want you to consider that who is it for is a very important part of identifying identifying a problem or an opportunity. You can't identify a problem without identifying the customer segment it is for. And when I have been saying the customer segment, I have always been using full sentences like senior citizens 65 to 85 or 65 upwards who live in tier 2, tier 3 cities, whose children have gone off to cities, bigger cities, in search of livelihood, employment, better career opportunities. Yeah. So the target user is a persona. So you need to describe that person. So this personal connection is the same. Why us? Why now? I want to solve this problem because I have seen at close quarters what it can do, drug addiction, whatever. I leave that to you. But what is the connection? What is the problem statement? Who's the target user? Can you describe that person, a persona? Do a root cause analysis. Why are they facing this problem? And who else is in the market addressing this? And how can you find a sustainable solution? So this is, to me, I pretty much covered whatever I spoke to you takes care in a sense of task one. Task two is for young people. You guys know this better than I do, which is come up with a solution idea and which is the sustainable idea. And what is the point of difference is the question asked. I'm happy to pause now and see if you have any questions. Otherwise, Gayatri will give you this is just a shorthand. Gayatri has written a very nice one pager, a little more detailed, explained which of these need get what number of marks and so on and so forth. So um, you will have to do this assignment and she'll tell you about it. If there is anything that I could stay on and answer as a question, I'm very happy to do so.
Thank you, ma'am, for such an interactive and engaging session. It was really nice that you were guiding the students for the participants today. So now we would like to open the platform for a quick Q&A. So anybody can you can unmute and ask a question directly or text us on the chat so that I could read it out for ma'am. So one of the first question is how can we accurately evaluate the economic potential of a new venture, especially when it is entering an entirely new market with limited historical data?
Sure. So what I was not asking you was to not tell you ki the business will be worth 100 crores or 50 crores. No. The only thing I was trying to advise you was that find a segment that is willing to pay money for the solution. That's all. So when I say economic value, so the same kind of observing customers, talking to customers, listening to customers, you need to get around to asking if there was a solution, how much money would you pay? And that's just the price. How much would you pay if I had to do the loneliness and the recreation center? Would you pay 10,000 rupees a month to come to a recreation center? 10,000 is very large number. It could be more like 2,000 or whatever, or even 500. I don't care. But that is what I mean by economic value. I don't mean the rupees crore of it. I hope I answered the question.
Most of the questions are about the assignment. So regarding the assignment, we'll be sharing the detailed.
Let me take the ones which are not
Yeah.
assignment.
Yeah.
So Asha, it's a wonderful question. How important is formal business knowledge for launching a venture? I think formal business knowledge can be acquired. There is today's world, knowledge is very democratized. So I have a course online. If you can't attend my IIT Bombay course, I'll send you a link. Not just me, there are hundreds of such courses available. More than that, typically what you should look for, all of you, even as you form a team, is that the 3-4 of you come from different skill sets. You should all be aligned on wanting to solve the sustainable waste management problem. Waste management is an example. But you should say that I am good with talking to people. I'm good with the front end, which is talking to customers and so on. Somebody should have some tech understanding of how to create a, I don't know, a biodegradable bioreactor or a bio solution to waste management? So yes, the answer is, can passion, creativity, etc.? Yes, because knowledge is available. Knowledge is available. Huh? Prasad, the new idea, I call it underserved. So there is nothing which is so new that it has not been done before. Huh? Just you have to identify not an unmet need, but an underserved need. So for the sake of this competition, the competition ones I am lead. Huh? Um, so the Hult Prize is a competition which if your idea is worth it and you get chosen, you'll get money to get prototypes and so on and so forth. So at this point, you should not worry about where money will come from. I know it sounds a little cliched, but the dearth is not of money. The dearth is of good people and good ideas. Money finds its way. So um, I have answered, I think, the Shil's question. Yeah, this is wonderful. Uday, please do this. Uday, yes. So let me put it in my language just so you understand. Cancer treatment today um, must be maybe upwards of 50 lakhs. And if you find a cheaper solution, that's completely underserved need, because most of India cannot afford it. Including things like MRI machines, everything that we import is so expensive. So the answer to your question is a overwhelmingly yes. I'm now finding that so many. Uh, no, it's not about English. Whoever said this, and I want to take this up because I really would have liked to speak Hindi in this session. हाँ, बट मुझे नहीं पता था, जब मैं हिंदी पढ़ाती हूँ ना क्लास में, मुझे या दो स्टूडेंट या तीन स्टूडेंट खड़े होकर कहते हैं कि आई कम फ्रॉम आंध्र प्रदेश और आई कम फ्रॉम कर्नाटका और आई कम फ्रॉम तमिलनाडु और केरला, सो माई हिंदी इज नॉट एज गुड एज माई इंग्लिश. सो मैं ना आधा आधा 50% इंग्लिश एंड 50% हिंदी ऐसे ही पढ़ाती हूँ. एंड इट्स नॉट अबाउट द कमांड ओवर द लैंग्वेज, इट इज द कमांड ओवर द कंटेंट. जब अपने को कंटेंट पता हो ना, तो रात को नींद में कोई उठाएगा ना, तो भी मैं कस्टमर वैल्यू प्रोपोजिशन पढ़ा दूंगी. So the thing you have to hear from me is to be good at your domain, whatever your domain is. Huh? Okay. English is very irrelevant. I want all of you to watch Shark Tank. Shark Tank में कोई English में बात ही नहीं करते हैं. मतलब English is not needed. So the point is to know your substance. Huh? Funds puchha. I'm losing track. Okay.
One of the questions is, how will we know that an idea that we're thinking through will be something that we will be able to do?
Very good question. At this point of time, in the Hult Prize, and even in my class, I don't allow people to evaluate a technology part. Currently want them to evaluate whether uski garaj hai, whether it is needed. That is more important. We will find technology for it. Unless people want to do time travel and teleportation and all, other than that, assume that technology exists. So don't kill an idea because you think maybe technology doesn't exist. Maybe technology does exist. So don't kill an idea by thinking of technology. Progress on it, and at the right stage, you will start building your product. Can you solve my question? I didn't see his question. Funds to make a prototype. What is the basic
Then
qualities of an entrepreneur? I can answer this question, Lakshmi. Basic qualities of an entrepreneur are कीड़ा. दिमाग में कीड़ा है. I don't know how to translate कीड़ा into English. And whatever you think of my English being powerful, the word कीड़ा has no translation. दिमाग में कीड़ा है कि हमें कुछ करना है, हमें कुछ अलग करना है, हमें कोई problem solve करनी है. That's the basic quality of an entrepreneur. The other two important qualities are passion, which to me is कीड़ा, but persistence. Passion में sometimes things की passion is in short bursts, but you have to do passion for a long period of time. That's called persistence. So those are the qualities of an entrepreneur. And dimag mein junoon hai, very nice. Prajwal, I cannot answer the question. What particular UN SDG problem are you tackling? I'm only a teacher, but I would want all of you to take up at least some of those. So poverty, hunger, inequality, there are so many, there are 17 of them. So just keep that chart on your screensaver. Hmm. No, I think when the question you're asking me is slightly beyond today's discussion. But if you write to me, I'll tell you about how to build trust. But that's not for today's conversation. Hmm. Uh, how to judge the financial feasibility of a project, Shrija? I'm only the first speaker. There will be people who will come and speak to you about things which are at the later stage. So today's objective of the Hult Prize opening, or whatever we call today, was to make you think about problems and opportunities and ideas. So I'm not going to talk to you about financial viability. That is less important for today, Shrija. But people, the Hult Prize is evaluating not on financial feasibility and so on. The Hult Prize will typically evaluate for novelty, relevance of the idea, the linkage of it to a UN SDG, the passion that you and your team have to solve this problem and this problem now. So Acha, this can students participate? I don't know. Shrija, thank you for telling me that I'm tackling education. Yes, I think as they are flying on my screen, I'm trying to answer. I don't know, guys. I'm happy to share my deck. You have the PDF version of my file already.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm very happy for you to share the
Yeah.
deck. My email ID is on, I think, the first slide and the last slide. Um, and
One of the
now,
question is, how should we tap a market which already has a giant in a similar sector?
oh, very, very good question. So I can give you the answer to that. Sometimes what happens is, not sometimes, always, giants don't see small opportunities. So even when giants don't see small opportunities, and small opportunities become big. So the fresh eyes, the new pair of eyes or whatever, is typically with younger, newer, more passionate people. And the other problem large companies have is, even if they came across a small opportunity, they'll say, "ये तो बहुत ही छोटा है. इस पे हम करेंगे तो हमारा, you know." So there are classic problems big companies have, and that is exactly the opportunity that entrepreneurs have. Uh, uh, is a language proficiency important? Any language proficiency is okay, but more than language, na. And this morning I listened to 12 of our teams present to me. I teach courses and I mentor students. 12 teams. 3 or 4 teams spoke Hindi throughout. Shark Tank. It's not about proficiency in the language. It is about the, matlab, I may not be able to speak to you like this about football. आता ही नहीं है. Maybe cricket little. So it is not the proficiency in the language. It is the comfort with the subject matter. So Arsha asked this question, but this I want to say to all of you. ऐसा नहीं कि मुझे बहुत अच्छी हिंदी आती है, मुझे बहुत अच्छा इंग्लिश आता है. That is not important. The same English will fail me if I try to talk about football or politics or whatever. आता ही नहीं है. So it is about knowing your content. It's about knowing your domain. Oh, Priyanshu, you should tell me the answer to the question you are asking. You guys live the problem. So typically, rant list, जो problem आपकी होती है, there are 2 problems with it. जो rant list आपकी होती है ना, उसका solution आप खुद नहीं ढूंढ पाओगे because you are so close to the problem. You have to zoom out a little, meet 3-4 people, and not come up with one answer, come up with 4-5 answers, and then figure which of them work better. For example, mess food is a problem all of you face, hostel food, whatever you want to call it. Yes, Uday, I didn't see your previous message. Yes, that's a very big problem. People don't want to talk about their problems. उसका भी हर मर्ज की दवा है. So you're starting of talking to people, always start with friends and family. So if it is loneliness, senior citizens, don't meet a unknown person. पहले तो अपने घर में, मतलब in your immediate circle you meet, then they will tell you, इनसे बात करोगे तो इनसे ज्यादा पता चलेगा, क्योंकि ये बच्चे तो US चले गए, साल में एक बार आते हैं. वो भी कभी-कभी नहीं आते हैं. So yes, getting people to speak is an art, but everything solves itself if your intent is right. And technically, तो I told you, Abhi, don't worry. Acha, Saksham has a question which is on the assignment.
I could probably take the last
Oh, yeah,
question
yeah.
in the interest
Yeah,
of time. And then,
Yeah, I'm going to take Sakina's question. So many problems are solved. I agree. But they are not solved here. That is a very, very good problem to take up. So indigenization of defense equipment. You will not do it. I mean, not in the Hult price, but indigenization of पता है यहाँ पे एक्सरे मशीन हम क्यों नहीं रूरल इंडिया में एक पोर्टेबल एक्सरे मशीन ले जा सकते हैं? ले जा सकते हैं. कोई बनाएगा तो ले जाएंगे. फिलहाल the global companies like General Electric, etc., don't feel the need for it because in their countries they have hospitals everywhere. So the problem has to be identified for your market, for your citizen or your customer or user. So yes, that is one good way of identifying a problem. Business is a very broad word. For the moment, stay with identifying problem and idea, and then doing the assignment. In the assignments that the Hult Prize India gives you, you will at least get to writing a business plan. उधर तक आप पहुंच जाओगे. If you do the assignments that Hult Prize gives you will write a business plan. Whether you will make the product or not, वो दूसरी बात है. But you will get to a pitch deck and a business plan. फिर product बनाओगे, फिर बेचोगे. बिजनेस इज बेचना ही होता है और कुछ नहीं होता. एंड आप लोग सबको मालूम है जब आप जाते हो व्हेन यू वांट टू आस्क योर पेरेंट्स फॉर शैल आई गो ऑन अ वेकेशन विद माय फ्रेंड्स, यू नो कि मम्मी से पूछा जाए कि फादर से पूछा जाए. ऑल ऑफ अस नो हाउ टू सेल. इट इज इन आवर ब्लड. सो डोंट गो दैट फार आउट. Stay with the Hult Prize assignments. By the time these, I don't know, 4 or 5 assignments come your way, you will definitely reach a business plan document or a pitch deck document. And then, depending on how interested you are, how worthy is the idea, there is resource available even beyond Hult Prize, and we are happy to share those with you. Yeah. I think I've taken more than my share, Shailesh, Gayatri. So please
yes,
share my document.
yeah.
And yeah.
I once
So
again thank you for your valuable perspectives, and we truly appreciate your thoughtful words and engaging and taking up all the questions. So before we wrap up for today, I would like to inform everybody that a detailed details of your assignment will be shared to all of you, including Ma'am's presentation as well. And then the recording of the session is also available on YouTube, so you can go and check it out. And also, I would like to remind that the deadline for the assignment will be 13th December, and our next session begins at 5 p.m. on 13th December, next Saturday. So we would like to we all not to miss any step in this journey, so that in the end your business plan and your venture is ready. So also to ensure a comprehensive evaluation of your progress. So 40% of this will depend on your weekly assignments. So 10% for each of the assignment. And then there's a final quiz, which has a weightage of 60% conducted at the end of the program. So once again, I would like to thank everybody who has joined, and our speakers, our guest speakers, and also the organizing team, and all the spirited participants. We would like to see your amazing energy all throughout the journey. So stay curious and bold, and also keep building. So looking forward to an amazing journey ahead.
thank you.
Thank you so
Bye.
much, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.